This is Garrett Fry, the cemetery sequence lead for 3D digital map painting, and we're looking at shot 1247. So we're going to be doing a shot brief here. So let's go ahead and play this shot. Starts low and ends high here. There's a bit of inconsistencies in this shot because a lot of these gravestones here are very old. And then we have this kind of modern looking gravestone over here. So we're going to want to make sure that this thing gets completely replaced. So you'll probably want to go through and do a ground patch of grass on top of this first and completely obliterate it, and then add your gravestone on top. That way you're not fussing with edges or something. If you're putting your gravestone here and you've got little things poking out here and there, that's kind of distracting. So go ahead, replace the whole thing with grass, and then put your gravestone on top, or your selection of several gravestones. You'll also need to start putting in larger gravestones through here in the foreground, and designing the shot. So this is pretty nicely populated back here. There's not much you need to do back in this area. Maybe in here you could put in some gravestones, but mostly it's this foreground area that needs a lot of gravestones, and then you can also pepper them back here. So you're going to either be putting these gravestones in the light or in the shadow. So just make sure that when you do that, it actually looks like it is in the shadow. It has the right values and contrast and as these that are in the plate. And if it's in the light, that it has matching what's in the plate. And what's a really cool look is like some of these gravestones, like this guy right here, where he's kind of in the light and also in the dark. So it has that dappling. And you can see that dappling go throughout the plate here, especially back here. It's really beautiful, this kind of dappled light. So it's nice to include some of that dappled light, especially if you're going to be putting a gravestone somewhere in here that's, the transition between the dappled light into full light. When you are doing this, you need to be very mindful of the shadow shapes. When the gravestones are in the shadow, there are no shadow shapes, but there is an occlusion shape that goes on the bottom. If it's in the light, you're going to see a real direct light source. So you're going to want to make sure that you are matching those. Before starting out on the shot, it's really important to familiarize yourself with the extensive photo reference in the library. It is worthwhile to do quick matte painting concepts so you can start to understand what kind of photography works for what particular situation. Also, make sure you're utilizing the asset library, especially for those shots that require continuity between environments. These assets can be a huge help, and remember that every asset has high resolution photography, so if the asset is not high enough resolution when rendered, you can overlay it with photography.